Kevin Joy from Big Body Ball here to talk some USC recruiting. They have just jumped Oregon for the number one class in the 2026 recruiting cycle. This is big for them. They've had a really big weekend and they're continuing to trend up. They've just locked down the first number one class in the country. So good job for USC and Lincoln Riley. This all started from flipping four-star recruit Jonas Williams, who was committed to Oregon. Now he's now decommitted from Oregon and now committed to Lincoln Riley in the USC Trojans. So that's big. That's a big corner piece for your 2026 cycle to be able to build around. And it's still very, very early. So having that highly rated four-star recruit in your holster, that's really great. And then shortly after that to follow, Samote Katuanga, linebacker from California, that's important to note here, 6'5", 240, big dude, also committed to USC. And that's also on top of, Xavier Griffin, who is the highest rated linebacker recruit, that he is also committed to USC. Now, he's not from California, but they're building a really big class, and specifically on the defensive side of the ball. All the number 1 through 5 of their recruits, all top 5 of them on the defensive side of the ball. Now, obviously, if you've been following USC and more specifically Lincoln Riley, the defense has been the biggest question for his entire tenure. He's able to put out quarterbacks who are in the Heisman race, and he's able to win some games and win some conference titles out in the Big 12. But the defense has always been the thing that's been holding him back. And they are trying to go all in on the defensive side of the ball for this 2026 cycle, which is exactly what they need to do because that has been their biggest point of contention. So let's see, what has really changed here? Like USC has done a fairly good job early on in recruiting. Actually, the past 3 cycles, they've been hovering around in the top 10, if not maybe even a little higher. And then the bottom just fell out and their recruiting classes went to shit. So what's changed here? Now they just got a new GM, Chad Bowden, who USC stole from Notre Dame. So that's big to take them from your rival. And he's looked like he's done a pretty good job so far. And he's trying to place emphasis on high school recruiting and specifically high school recruiting in California. Now California has had their lunch. USC has had their lunch eaten from Oregon in recruiting the state of California. Oregon has come and plucked whoever they wanted out of California. California pumps out, and probably like a top 2, top 3 state in terms of the talent that comes out of that state. And Oregon has just come in there and has rated them for the past 5+ seasons, and that has really hurt USC a lot to get their homegrown talent leave to Oregon. They're in conference rival, whether that be in the Pac-12 or now in the Big Ten. So they recruit against Oregon a lot, and they've been losing a lot of those battles. Now, Oregon is still doing a good job. Oregon has 9 recruits right now. It's good for the number 2 class in the country, and 4 of those 9 are from California, and all of them are on the lines of scrimmage. They're all the hog mollies. Now, that's pretty important because California is not known for pumping out a lot of dudes amongst the lines of scrimmage. And they're more known for their athletes and the dudes out wide who can spread you thin. So being able to pluck those guys from California that's a big win for Oregon, and USC is still going to need to overcome that because having those guys are very important, especially the guys on the line of scrimmage. So Oregon is still doing really well, but USC has shown some great trajectory. Also want to mention the secondary coach Doug Belk for USC. He's killing it on the recruiting trail. 24/7 Sports has him as the second ranked recruiter in the country right now. So he's doing a fantastic job. So what can they do to keep this up? Like they still are in the mix for a lot of blue chip guys. So they're on a good trajectory, but it's very early in the cycle, and we've seen this happen the past couple of cycles for USC where the wheels kind of fall off and their rankings trying to dip and people decommit. But I will say a lot of that is they've been trying to go into the South and get these guys from the South to get them to commit to USC in Los Angeles. And a lot of the times these guys commit from the South to USC, but then they end up decommitting because it's still early on in the cycle. So I do expect USC to not hold on to this number 1 ranked class in the country. I do think that we'll probably still see there's some big risers in terms of these programs because it's very early on in the recruiting cycle, but also maybe see some decommitments. I need to see a little bit more from Lincoln Riley. I need to see this pan out for me to really trust how he's going to do on the recruiting trail because we've been fooled by this before the past few seasons. where he's had a really good reclass early and then it's really dropped off. So we'll see where this goes moving forward, but I do think at least he's off to a really good start, and it's great to see that he's prioritizing in-state talent and winning these battles in California. Follow Big Body Ball CFB on all socials.